Hey guys, I am here today with Lisa Baldwin. She is actually a design coach in my program, but before that, she was a Design Suite member. She's only been a coach for a couple of months now. And I thought it would be awesome for you guys to hear what she's doing. There's a reason she's a coach, is because she's doing so good. And she has been great about doing what I tell her to do. And that has really brought her a ton of success. So we want to talk about that so that you can understand. So sometimes I get people will be like, Carina, you're the only one who can do it. When I want to tell people, no, anyone can do this. Anyone can do this. So Lisa, do you want to tell us a little bit of should we just dig into your successes? Like, what's the last little bit been looking like for you?
The last little bit, like the last 45 days have been phenomenal. So I've made about $1,300 in sales, and I went from a brand new shop. And as of today, that one shop has 98 sales in these 48 days. And then I have a second shop. My second shop went from 9 sales to 50 sales. And my other shop has just been trickling as well. And that's the shop I've had for a very long time, even before coming to Design Suite. So it's been a good time. And the thing is that especially like right now, because it's not the peak season, I didn't hit all these sales back in December. Or, and it's now.
I know. And we're in low season, which is insane.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's because you've been changing a little bit your methodology. We kind of worked through and figured out what was really working and what was not working. Lots of people hear me say strategy, like they'll hear me say, and I don't think they really understand. It is personalized, figuring out what your exact, design company looks like and figuring out those little details to make it work. Don't you think that's the thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I think there was a point where I was just grasping, 6 months ago, a year ago, I was grasping so hard to try to find something to make the money now, when it wasn't. I just don't think we had the right strategy at the time. So you and I talked, and then I got in a new mindset of it was all about consistency of designing, consistency of uploading, and get that stuff up on Etsy. And then it all just fell into place like it should. Right?
It totally should. Well, and here's the thing. You didn't have, in my opinion, year one for you, because you're right around 18 months now. But year one for you actually, to me, was the way any typical first year of a designer actually is. Like I think you made more money than I did in my first year still. Once again,
Wow.
Like anyone who comes into Design Suite makes more money than I do in the first year, because I just was like, whoa, I don't know if, this is going to work. And so it's so funny. We do get kind of stressed about sales, but everybody knows it takes about 3 years. And a lot of it, I think about the stuff you did. I was thinking about the stuff I made you do in the September before everything. We know that this year, that stuff is going to rocket. It was just too late for the year we were in.
Yeah. And, and coming into the program, I didn't know anything. I didn't know Illustrator. I didn't know any of it. I was completely green. All I knew is that I love to create. Right. That's my passion. And, but yeah, I was nowhere. I mean, we were too late to the game with all the stuff that I implemented last September. So it was too late, but it's all there now. And I'm going to keep building on it to then make it even better, because it's all there now. So
yeah, it's so good. I love hearing this, because I tell people it takes 3 years to build it up to a place where it's really pretty profitable. It's so funny with you in particular, because we were trying to move things around quickly and make it work. And while you were making money, you weren't making bigger money. It's so funny, because now we have members who come in because you're a coach as well. And you're like, just do this. I promise, this will work. They're making sales starting at 8 weeks, at 12 weeks, because we've kind of been able to be like, no, seriously, just do this.
Right. And I've had that conversation with them. It's like, I said, listen, when I came in a year and a half ago, it was a slower process. I said, you guys are on the fast track, and it's awesome, because and it's amazing when I talk to them. I had my sale in my first 4 weeks, or I had a sale. I put a listing up, and the next day I got a sale. I'm like, what? It's and on top of that, they're designing so much so quick. That is what is phenomenal. So it's just because there's that key element of the quicker you get things in your shop, the sooner you're going to make money. Everybody's, it's just, it's just moving. It's on the right path. It's
Yeah.
really, really good.
It's so
So
fun
good.
to see, don't you think, too?
It's
Like
great.
we have all these different communities where people can connect in our program. And one of them is Marco Polo, which we've recently implemented and has been kind of almost insane. Like I love seeing everybody connect, but the number of people who get on, I was just thinking about Wendy the other day, who like hopped on and was like, oh, I did, she's only been in the program for 5 months. She was like, last month I looked and I did 45 sales, and my second shop also brought in sales. And I found this other, I forgot I had posted in this other shop, and oh my gosh, I had a huge sale there. And we're like, wait, what? Like we haven't even hit 6 months yet. And we're in the low season. And I'm like, I cannot wait to see what you do in the high season.
Yeah. It's amazing to see how fast everybody's designing, and getting things up because, I have, you see their little wins that they post or talk about at Marco Polo. It's like, oh, I've got 150 things in my shop. I'm like, what? Wait, they haven't even been here a year.
No.
Right? It's been months, not like a year or whatever. So
don't you think so much of it is the way we're pushing now? And because the strategies are so much more solid now, I think that now that we've kind of seen how and what makes people successful, it just drives the entire program for everyone to be more successful. And I think the sharing helps too, don't you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think like everybody's sharing in the community. It's everybody sees, everybody wants to be successful, right? And so, and how the program has evolved from like when I started to now, it's in the sweet spot. It's working. And so everybody that comes in is like, man, you're hitting it at the right time. I mean, you couldn't have picked a better time to come in. It's all about timing. And it's just been amazing.
Yeah,
so everybody
timing
is doing
huge.
very well. Yes.
Timing is huge. It's so funny. I'll talk to design boot campers who are thinking about coming in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, your timing couldn't be more perfect. Like, I'm like, we've got 2 or 3 months to really like do it. And even if the timing's maybe not perfect, at the end of the day, now, right? It's always about like, let's start now, because we know what will happen in a year. We know what will happen in year 2. And if you don't start now, it just never is going to happen.
No. Yeah. Timing, literally timing is everything. It really is. Yeah.
So good. Tell me this, like now that you are designing and you're designing every day, and you are actually a coach for me as well, because you've done so good. Tell me about what your life looks like now versus like before you joined the program.
Oh my gosh. Night and day. Good versus bad. I mean, it's just gotten better. I mean, I literally, like we talked about timing just a second ago. I truly believe this is my time. I'm where I need to be. I'm doing what I need to do. I love what I'm doing. I could do this 24 hours a day, maybe 20. Okay, 23, right? I got to have some time to rest.
3 hours. Lisa?
Let's carve some time out to sleep, right? But it's never overwhelming. It's never too much, because when you're really in the right spot and it is your time to be where you're at, and I truly believe that this is where I need to be right now, doing all these things, designing, working for you as a coach, helping all the members. I just could not be more happy and more fulfilled in my life because of this program, right? It hit me at the right time in my life. It's what I needed. And it's amazing.
It's just so good. Well, it's so funny. As you're talking, I was like, I remember our call. So I did all the calls back then. And by the way, if you join a design boot camp, you have access to a free call. It's like a coaching call. We talk to you about Design Suite. It's actually phenomenal. And we teach you a couple of things in that call. But if you sign up for a call, like you will get someone who knows our program and what we're doing so well, you'll really enjoy them. You might also maybe get me, depending on how crazy the week is. But I did Lisa's call, and I literally remember you saying to me, I just quit my job at the bank, like not that long before. And you were just like, this is my time. I want to do something creative. I am super creative. This is what I'm going to do. And it's so funny because Lisa's journey actually is very similar to lots and lots of Design Suite members, like this feeling of needing to make a change because life is too short to do what you don't want to do.
Exactly. And that's exactly what it was with the bank. I literally quit one afternoon. No job, no backup, nothing. And just said, I can't do this. And of course, what do you do when you don't have anything else to do? You get on Facebook. And who came across the Facebook page? You. Do you ever want to be a service pattern designer? Do you that? I'm like, what? Like,
You're like, yes, I do.
yes, I do. Yes, yes. And like, where were you 17 years ago when I was huge into scrapbooking and teaching scrapbooking classes and working for a big scrapbooking, company and everything? And it just, I mean, seeing that boot camp and then going to boot camp, I, everything you said makes sense to me. It resonated with me. It's because it's what I always wanted to do, but I never knew how to make it happen.
Yeah.
And you put it all out there. I mean,
I know. Well, I was teaching you guys exactly what I was going to do because 17 years ago, I was a designer making money as a creative director at a scrapbooking company and actually doing this stuff. So like I couldn't teach what I don't already know. Right.
right.
So that's why it took so long for me to build a program because I was busy just doing the thing that I now teach you guys to do. It's totally proven. And what is so fascinating to me is that you really loved boot camp. Would you tell us like what your experience in boot camp was?
So I signed up for the boot camp and I started watching it and it was live. And so I was, I didn't miss a second of it. And and every time I'm like, what? And the whole time, because I had this passion, this dream 17 years ago to make a book of scrapbooking with page layouts and how to build them and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to do like Tupperware parties, like Tupperware parties, at home parties. I was making kits. I had all these great ideas, but I never knew how to implement them in the business side of it. Right. I just had all these ideas and then they got tabled. Right. Life happens, we go on, but every minute of boot camp that you talked about, all the different strategies and all of that, it just made sense to me. And I said, and I don't even think the part about the learning the courses, it was the business side of it, how to take your passion and take it and all the business pieces, because it's not just about the courses, it's about learning how to build that business.
Yeah.
And from that point of boot camp way back then to now, people coming through boot camp and then getting in the program, it's totally on the fast track and it works.
It is. It is so crazy how fast everybody is going. But here's the other thing. We do have people who go slower. We also endorse that. Like if you're someone who needs to really dig into the courseware and dig into the community, we're okay with that too. Guess what? If you make hardly any money in year one, you're still better off than most of the population out there trying to do it on their own. That's what we see over and over and over again, because you get the foundational pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much good information in boot camp that just, it just makes it clear. You understand, you just can't miss. It's the best money I ever spent. The best little tiny bit of money I ever spent.
Tiny. We make it so cheap on purpose. It's $27. And honestly, I try my hardest to teach you things that like you really wouldn't hear anywhere else. Like really and truly, just because we want it to be a phenomenal education experience. And if someone comes to me and say they didn't learn anything, I'm like, then why aren't you making tons of money already? And I have had people do that. It's been fascinating. Someone came to me and said, well, this all feels basic. And I'm like, so how much money are you making? Well, I haven't made any money. I'm like, well, then you're not implementing any of it, which is key, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, okay, you guys, we're going to give you a link to boot camp in the show notes. So if you want to come to a boot camp for only $27 and find out more about what we do, and we talk about profitability. I get up with my easel and I'm talking to you guys about what's working and what's not working. I also want you to see what Lisa is doing, because Lisa is doing lots of things. She does physical and she does digital. We typically teach digital, but we actually really dig into a few of our designers who are doing well in physical, and we teach them that as well. I've done physical products. Our coaching staff has done physical products. So it really helps because we can talk about all the different things.
Mhm.
Will you tell everyone where they can find you, or where do you want to send them? Like your Instagram or website?
Um, I feel like there's so many places.
I know. That's the thing about everyone who's in the program, because if they have multiple sites, we're like, well, where should we send you? So where do you
Yeah.
want to, where do you want people to check you out?
So, I guess, let's see. So I don't post a lot on Instagram, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. And you know why? It's because
Because I
I'm
told,
so busy.
it's so busy. And while I tell you guys not to, like, it's not worth it in the first 3 years very often, definitely not the first year.
Yeah.
But if you're making money, platform will push you there without
Yeah.
an Instagram. You don't need it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy.
So I think the easiest one to go is it's my shop, my Etsy shop. And it's Lisa Ann Designs with an S shop. So that's one of the 3 Etsy shops I have. So that's my digital shop.
Okay, so we'll give you the link in the show notes if you want to go see what Lisa's up to. She does all sorts of phenomenal things. I think one of the coolest things about our program is the number of paths you can take. I don't think we have 2 designers doing even close to the same thing. That's like the craziest part about it. Everybody, I mean, even if you're in the same category, you're still building things differently, doing it differently, depending on you. And so like the fact you're like everybody else, everyone's got like 2 or 3 shops, and we're kind of like figuring out best strategies for those shops.
Yeah. Do you remember the first thing I designed and I shared with you and you were floored?
Was it a dog?
It was
Or
my
was
shoes.
It was your shoes. Oh my gosh, that was so good.
Yeah.
And I think was it in a virtual conference? So
It
like
was.
I was like, if anybody has wins, share them, send them in. This is before we had our badge and award program. And she had a picture of her shoes. You had them sent in. Where did you have them sent in?
So I did the design because, I told you my passions were dogs and coffee. So I created the Schnauzer and I put them on a pair of Vans.
That's
And
right.
I had them custom made at Vans and had them brought over. And the reason why I did that was because every time I put these on or look at them, it was my constant reminder. This was the first steps into making my dream as a designer come true. And this program has got me where now I'm not anymore living the dream. I'm not dreaming, I'm living it. So, and that's what, and I was I wanted to know if you remembered my shoes.
I totally forgot about that. I forgot that was you.
Yeah.
But now that it comes back, I remember like how excited the community was. Do you remember that? Like people went crazy for those shoes, like crazy. They were like, those shoes, I want to do that. That's amazing. And like, I've had friends do it now that we've seen you do it. But yeah, that was phenomenal. It blew my mind, like seeing your, and now, especially we really, cause we're still in digital, but we were like, guys, if you can make it a little bit physical, it will make you really feel good.
And I think that once looking back and doing that and actually putting your product on something physical, even if you always stay digital, right? You're just going to keep designing. I mean, you put your product on something physical. It is just a reminder that you are a designer, right?
Yeah.
And you're successful and this is your dream and this is your passion and you just go for it. Just go for it. It's been amazing and it'll continue to be amazing. I can't wait to see when I'm old and I already am gray, but old and gray and see and feel like this was my claim to fame, is that this is what I did. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited for even in the next 6 months. It's so funny. I get really excited just watching people over 6 months periods because I see how well your actual business is doing, the design business, and then watching you coach designers and seeing how, last night we had a conversation, because sometimes conversations happen very late at night about one of our members and what we need to do to fix her previews. Like that's the stuff we're talking about. We are digging into actual members, like individually, like everybody has a name. We want people to be heard, and we're trying to figure out how to make them win. And that is really what it's all about. We're trying to figure out how to make every individual in our program win. We're not one of those programs where it's like, come in, good luck, try to do what we're telling you to do. It's like, no. Like, are you having a struggle? Let's talk about that. What's going on?
Yeah. Anything, whether it's in the design business or just in everyday life. I mean, we're here.
Yeah.
We're here. I mean, this is such, and one of the best things about the program, not only everything else that we're getting out of it by learning and just starting our business, it's the community. It's really just phenomenal. And all of us coaches, I think, as coaches, we talk about different members and stuff. And it's always about, hey, because I mean, I don't claim to know everything. I never will. I'll admit that. Right. But I'll tell you, I have all the passion in the world for it. And I will do whatever I can do to continue to give everybody else that same. I mean, it's the fire in my belly that. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing though, like how exciting it is to even talk about, like, okay, the member we talked about last night, we're not going to say who it was, but literally, you know what we were all like just discussing? What to put on the header in her preview. It was like literally this tiny little thing. It was like, do we tell her to put the logo up there? Do we take everything off of it? Do we put the like tag up there? Like, that's how the details work in our program. Like, if you come to the table and say, this is what I'm struggling with, we will figure it out with you. Yeah. We just will.
Yeah. And we won't rest until it's figured out, because all we want to do is see you succeed, right? I mean, that's what it is. It's not doing any, I mean, I'm not profiting from it or doing anything from it, but I mean, just helping them and just getting a second or a third or a fourth pair of eyes on it just makes it that much better, because, it's just, we go the extra mile.
So amazing. Yeah, we go the extra mile because like, it's just, we're all humans, right? We just want everyone to do a good job and succeed. So, I mean, we can't put in the effort for a member, but if a member puts in effort, we're going to put as much effort back. We'll match them. So, and maybe a little bit more. And
you steered me down that path.
I did. I mean, there were a couple of times where I was like, Lisa, do this. Like, and I had to push her a little bit, but you know what? I find when I push, and we see this with members all the time. I remember we were in a meeting and Jeannie told me something. I said, that goes against everything I teach. I was like, don't do that. I was like, do this instead. And she was like, what, really? And I was just like, you got 2 weeks. And she did it. She totally did it.
She said to me, she goes, did you hear what happened? I said, well, she goes, Carina gave me this huge project. I said, you got it, Jeannie. And she did. She did totally it and then some. And she's still rolling. She is still going.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun. All right, guys, we're going to get going, but I'm so glad you guys were here to listen to Lisa. Her story is very typical. Like, we have designers who it takes a little while to get things figured out. And then it's like, it hits, then we have opposite. We have designers who get going really, really fast. And then they maybe hit a slump a little bit, along the way. We've got to figure that out. But it's just, everybody's journey is their own. And we are just grateful for those of you who have come in and let us be a part of that, because it's fun. It's really fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. I feel very blessed to be able to be in this with everybody else, because it's such a treat. And I cannot wait to see all the successes that they're having. That is the good thing.
Yeah, we see all the little successes and we're like, oh, a sale here, a sale there, 7 sales overnight, whatever. But like, we can't wait to see people hitting 6 figures, and getting to the levels that we know they can, but it takes time to do. We're definitely not a program that's like, you're going to make money in the first 5 days. We're not that program. Let's build a solid foundation design business that will serve you for the rest of your life.
That's right. The long haul.
It's fun. Yeah. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us. If you are interested in a design bootcamp, make sure and check out the link below. Also go check out Lisa's stuff. We'll give you the link to that as well. I think it's just really fun to see what designers are really doing, and we will see you soon. Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.